Welcome to Conversations with Carla. Today is the 18th of February, and I am so excited today. I have Carla Fluckiger. Did I say that right?
You did, and you practiced well, so good for you. Complicated.
Excellent. It is, and we both have that. So mine is Sean, and it means horseradish, and people will say Charzan or Schurzan, or they'll come up with some interesting things. Tell us about your name, and will you pronounce it so people could actually hear the proper way?
So the name is Swiss, Fluckiger, and it's Fluckiger with the accent on the first syllable. But it's funny because in Switzerland, in the area where it comes from, it's actually quite common. But in the U.S. and Canada, which is, a lot of millions of people, right? I've never found someone that isn't related to the three brothers that came over in 1880, whatever, and settled in Wyoming. And so every single Fluckiger I've found, and that may not continue to be true, has come from those. So they're like my third, fourth, fifth cousin, something or other, somewhere, right? And so it's extremely unusual, U.S. and Canada, although my understanding, I haven't been there, is it's like Smith in Switzerland. So
excellent. And so, Kellan, tell us a little bit. I mean, you have an amazing background, everything from being a fabulous musician to owning a recording studio to, you were just saying about presenting in front of Congress. And then you also help CEOs, you help individual little people like me, coaches and healers. So tell us, in your words, a little bit of your background and what you are doing right now with your life.
So I was born to be an overachiever, I think. I think that came from my mom always making me feel like I was not good enough. And, there's a lot of physical activity to that, which we're not going to talk about today, but a lot of bad things. So I became an overachiever, but never happy. And because I was an overachiever, but never happy, I could never be good enough. And so I always did everything that could possibly be done. And that quest has led me to be a second-degree black belt and a concert pianist. And I've owned a recording studio and been in a group that's charted #1 on Billboard. I've been executive around the country, had a contract with the Queen of England. And even with all that silly stuff, it's not silly, but I ended up in huge depressive slumps and bad things. So my mission now, and that was for decades, so testifying before Congress, having a contract with the Queen of England, being called in internationally to solve really difficult problems, and doing it when tens of billions of dollars were at stake. Yes. But setting all that aside, what that led me to do now is help people who struggle with this fear, procrastination, and self-sabotage. Because I know from my own experience and from the clients I've had that we are happiest when we're using our divine or unique gifts and talents to help others and to do good. I call it add good to the world. And so that's what I love doing. And that's why I help lots of people. And I've done lots of volunteer and pro bono work, still do, because I want so badly everybody to win. So that's what I do.
It's brilliant. And I met Kellan a few years ago at a coaching seminar or live event. And we've kept in touch through social media. And we've only had a few conversations on the phone. And I will say, when we have, it's like I grab my my notebook and pen, and he's just sharing all these ideas and inspiration. And so that's why I'm really excited for this blab, because I really got to experience him in a way that I wasn't able to at the live event because of everything that was happening. So let's jump in, shall we?
I'm all yours.
Excellent. So the title that we created for this blab was How to Get Every Ideal Client Excited to Work with You. So could you come up with some of the reasons that you've seen, through your vast experience of what prevents people from getting clients? And now more specifically, coaches, healers, what other sort of niche do you work with besides coaches and healers?
So I work with coaches and healers, and I have a special soft spot for them because they come from such genuine places and they so often devalue their worth. I don't like that, and I like to help that. But I also have, regular hardcore business owners. I have clients around the world. I have one, in Europe, in Israel, in Mexico, in Tasmania, of all places, in all over the U.S. and Canada. And I hold my own events, 2 in the U.S. and 2 in my house in Canada during a year. And so I work with, every kind of person. One's a construction guy, owned a construction company. One was a carpet laying company. One helps baby boomers make money online. One's a computer programmer that's trying to help family lawyers increase their traffic and conversions from the internet. One's a couple of psychiatrists. I have a stable full of doctors right now that are trying to make their own Dr. Oz verse, create some income besides in the clinic. And as well as some, a number of people that want to be coaches and help others with their gifts. So a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of fun.
And would you say that because you've worked with so many different types of people, but also people doing different professions, that you found like similarity of the blocks, regardless if you're, I don't know if CEO would be the right one, but hardcore businessman, as you said it, versus a healer versus a construction worker, like that there's the same blocks is preventing each one of them from actually attracting their clients?
And the answer is going to be yes, not just for the convenience of talking about them all at the same time, but it really is, because we as humans, we basically deal with a very few set of perceptions about what we believe about ourselves, what we're capable of, whether or not we're valuable, in other people's eyes, and how to package and present and deliver, I guess is really how to deliver that value. And then how to get paid for the value. There's this thing about getting paid that somehow people think it's evil or bad. Sometimes, not everybody. Some people are like, are you kidding? But not, some people really struggle with that. But yes, it's so similar. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, let's talk about them. I don't know if you have them. I know you're shooting some video right now about the 5 roadblocks. Do you want to talk about those? Would you say that those are a great place to start?
Well, there's the 5 roadblocks. I just did some webinars the last few weeks, and I'm shooting another video because I'm going to do some more next week about the 5 roadblocks that are keeping you broke.
Okay.
And that really has to do with your relationship with money. And so it's specifically aimed at, the 5 roadblocks. How you make money can be a roadblock, and there are elements to how you make money that make you either broke or not. There's how you spend money, and there's elements to that, whether or not you are broke. How you feel about money has to do with your whole money story. How you spend your time is the 4th one, and the 5th one is the habit some of us have worse than others of procrastination. So how you make money, how you spend money, how you feel about money, how you spend your time, which is money, and procrastination. Those are the 5 roadblocks, and the webinar takes them apart, and there's 3 sub pieces to each one, and you can decide if you have them or not. And then I actually give a bunch of suggestions about how to deal with each of those 5.
I love it.
In that webinar. And so the money piece is one of the things that might be keeping you from getting clients. And so what I'd like to do, you want me to go ahead, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely talk about that. Or if you feel, if you see another pattern among, healers, coaches, badass. Okay, great. So let's go there.
I'm going to take the title of this: How to Get Every Ideal Client Excited to Work with You. So there's like 3 parts to that: ideal client, excited, and work with you. So one of the terrible blocks that we all suffer from, and I've suffered from this too, is who is an ideal client?
Yes.
You would think that that's easy to answer, but without fail, I ask someone who their ideal client is, I get stammering, stuttering, or I get the blanket everybody.
Right.
And everybody is not your ideal client. And if you're stammering and stuttering, the way I illustrate that is, if an ideal client tripped over you right now and looked up and said, "Why you?" If you can't answer that question in 2 sentences, you're leaving scads of money on the table, because those opportunities present themselves when they do.
Yeah.
And your ability to know who that ideal client is, so you channel that feeling and energy, is so critical. So not knowing who your ideal client is the first one. Now, would you like to talk about how to fix that, each one, or what would you like to do?
Yeah, I mean, what I hear, like the not knowing, is like what I hear you're saying is to get really, really clear on that, like that avatar, or like what about that particular person, why you feel like they are your ideal client. Is that where you're heading with this?
The why is so important. And one of the most illuminating moments in any coach's process is when they discover that almost universally they are their own avatar.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And with that moment of clarity, oh, well, that's like me. And then something bad happens, which is, oh, well, if I'm my own avatar, I'm not already successful, like I don't already have a big business, or I haven't made my first million yet. If I haven't done that, then I have nothing to share, and I'm a fraud. And so then they go to this place of, I'm no good. I can't help anybody because I'm not there. And nothing could be further from the truth. So yes, you're your own avatar most of the time. And that is a position of strength. And no, you don't need to be done. In fact, being a work in progress makes you a better coach and healer.
That's powerful. Being a work in progress makes you a better coach and healer. I think every one of us, because I'm a coach and a healer, we need that, like people say put on your forehead, but we can't see it. I need that on my palm, and look at that, or my arm or something. Because that's I would say that's definitely my truth, even though I feel I'm a really strong coach and a strong healer. And I do help other healers grow their business, but because I am not making six figures yet, I definitely feel my energy constrict a little bit. So I'll
give you an example. I have clients who make more money than I do. I have clients who, I've made millions. I'm not playing my executive role, all that jazz. Okay, good stuff. But I have clients that are on their way to 8 figures. I have one that might make 9.
What? That's insane.
Okay. $100 million. I have one that plans by 2020, if his growth process goes, that his company will be managing at 10 figures, $1 billion worth of assets by 2020. That has nothing to do with, and I'm successful and I make plenty. I'm not structuring my practice or life to maximize the money because I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm structuring it intentionally a different way. Go ahead.
Well, I just had an aha, and it's how ahas are really simple. When we do that, or okay, I'll just own it. This is about me now, apparently, but I'm judging myself. I'm comparing my life with everybody else. And when you said you're not structuring your business that way, it just totally gave me permission to be like, well, that's not necessarily my goal right now either. But yet I was still judging myself on that. Beautiful insight. Well, thank you for making that so obvious. We're like three minutes in and things are already happening. Okay, continue.
So good. You and everybody watching this now or later, you have permission to have as your goals anything you want. Be explicit about them, be happy with them, and don't compare them to others. If you say, I really want to live in a remote place, I'd like to get my business to maybe 6 figures, 100, 120, 150K. I'm really not trying to get to mid-6, 4, 500. I don't really want to. I'd rather do this and I'd rather structure my life. That's not only okay, it's not a cop-out. It's a choice. And if you make that choice intentionally and enjoy it so that it empowers you every day, then it becomes not an albatross. And when other people say, I'm making 500,000, you can be genuinely joyful for that experience because they have set that as a goal, or they wouldn't be saying, I'm making 500,000. Okay, cool.
Right.
And that becomes a point of enjoyment with them and not a point of neat for you.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, a lot of people will say, don't take financial advice for people who haven't made money. And so like with the coaching world, I think there's a difference between financial advice and helping people clear their blocks so they can make money. right? So like, I'm not going to teach someone how to invest because I have no idea how to invest. But as a healer and a coach, I could definitely find inside of them where their blocks could be, which is something that I know that you're brilliant at as well. So
I have made millions, and I'm still not going to give people financial advice because I don't consider myself the best investor of money either, because my history of stuff, I've wasted a bunch of money too. So I'm not telling you how to invest your money.
Yeah.
I've learned how to make money.
Yeah.
I can teach that all day. I've learned how to clear the blocks because of my history of decades of depression and this overachieving stuff. So there's a couple of different pieces here. And here is there's a feeling that says those who can't do, teach. And that denigrates the role of the mentor by saying, oh, you're only teaching because you can't perform.
Yeah.
I don't see any of the best figure skating coaches in the world except these old shriveled up guys that look like they're 200 years old, and I'm sure never did a quad anywhere in the world, but they are still coaches, and you hear the same names over and over again of the gold medal winners, Olympics after Olympics. So I just don't buy it.
Yeah. That's great. It's easy for me when I use a coaching analogy too, or a sporting analogy. Excellent. Okay. So what else would you say?
So let's go to the next word. Ideal client. You need to know and own who that is. And I'm going to go on to the next piece, which was excited. But one little piece about ideal client. One of the big fears is that if you narrow down to a very narrow ideal client, like one guy, you give her a name and say, Jane, who's 47, she's the mother of one, and she's single, and she hates her job. That specific is really good. And people are afraid that I'm going to leave so many people out. No, you're not. Because here's the reason. When you and I go to the movie, nobody in the movie looks at us into the camera, right? They look at each other, and we are essentially voyeurs over the shoulder of people having personal experiences. The fact that we are not being talked to directly, but that they're talking to each other, does not prevent us at all from being intensely emotionally involved, attracted or repulsed by one or the other, or identifying strongly with one or the other. And so identifying your ideal client raises your power, and the rule is talk to one, many, just like it happens in a movie.
Say that one more time. You sort of cut out.
I said, talk to one, speak to many. So yes. When I make videos, I look in the camera and I'm talking to Bill.
Yeah.
I'm talking to them about this thing. And whoever else wants to watch, that's like a movie. That's cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. What I love when we get into the avatars, right? It's like like you said, your guy has a name named Bill, mine, her name is Catherine. And like to really tap into their emotions, their pains, their struggles, which takes the pressure off of us and it puts it all on them. And then we could speak about how we could help them. Right.
Perfect. So the next word is excited. How to get your ideal. So assuming you have your ideal client, you know who they are. How do you get them excited?
Yeah, great question.
How do you get them excited? So you just started it by saying you're able to talk about their situation in words that they recognize, in conversations that's already going on in their mind with their words, and in a way that is detailed and specific. Because we have a characteristic as humans, when someone can describe what we're feeling in specific and detailed language as good as or better than we can, we somehow assume they know what to do about it. They understand me so well. They know I feel like I've known them forever. They know just what I'm feeling. The automatic next step is, and so now what? And so It's like, and that creates this excitement about, they want to know more about you. They get excited because they feel like someone understands them. So the next piece of that is after that excitement, and then they think, you must know the answer. Then to work with you is the part where you bring them to you and, close them. So let's say they're watching this blab and they get excited about Carla because she's a powerful healer and they want to do something with Carla. So then the question is, what is your process as a coach or healer or anyone else listening to this to make it so that you're accessible? So that if they look up your name or they go to your Facebook page or something, there is a path to you. And you do that. And what happens on that path is often where the struggle is. Because if you've got a problem with money, if you've got a problem with your value, if you've got a problem with your certainty about your ability to help them, that shows through. And then they got excited about you. And when they got closer, it's like, I don't know. I'm not sure. And it's doesn't continue to be inviting. And so the process of moving in for the kill, not really, but moving in for the connection so you can actually do the work is a thorny path.
Yeah, I love what you just said. I love everything that you're saying. Like you definitely, you get me. You're speaking everything, and it's like, again, take my money. But the path to you, like that's huge. Like making it. I mean, again, this is another aha that might be like a common sense aha. And I loved how you used the word like a thorny path. Like if there's resistance inside of us, or we are not in our confidence, then we're not going to make it super easy for our clients or potential clients to come for us. Like our resistance is what those thorns are. Am I hearing that correctly? You
are just totally interpreting it exactly right. Your resistance about yourself, your doubt about your self-worth, the procrastination that you do when you don't follow up quickly and then they've had a day. And after 24 hours, their memory of you goes down. And after 72 hours, it's like 90% gone. So the fact that you found reasons not to call them, the fact that you followed up with them with a question of, you don't want to get together and have some more conversation, do you? And you started the sentence with, you don't want to. Instead of, I would explore how to help you further. You so impressed me with your coolness. Can I learn more about, there's so many different ways to represent your resistance, your self-doubt, your reluctance to take money, your doubt about your ability to heal or help or coach them, that you send out all these go away vibes and believe me, people pick them up.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I mean, another aha that just came is when, I've seen this with some of my clients, like, helping them grow their business, and they don't even have a PayPal account yet, which is like basic, right? Like if you have a PayPal account, you could pretty much take any sorts of money. But when they don't have like certain structures into place, that's a huge block.
It means they don't expect to get any money. Can I hire you? Well, yeah, you could. Why don't you, go to find a Western Union and wire me some, and here's my PayPal thing. Let me send you an invoice. Yes, we'll start tomorrow at 3:00. Even that, I got a client once because he said to me, I'm hiring you because you said we could start tomorrow. Everybody else I talked to is like, well, we'll schedule something in a week. I said, oh, cool. Let's get started. We'd like to get your business rolling tomorrow. Would that work? I didn't even look at my calendar. I don't care. I'll figure out a time. And then when it's tomorrow, I'll say, well, the only time tomorrow I can meet is this. And they're like, okay, they're going to clear whatever it is to do it because I said tomorrow. And the answer is, I know I can help you because you've just told me all your problems. I know that. And I'd love you to have success right away. So why don't we start tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's like, of course.
Totally. Right. And you took the lead, right? Like that's the other part. Like you're not like, so what time works for you? Like you're already owning your space.
That's the thing you picked up on. I wasn't even going to talk about because I didn't think about it. When you ask them to fit, when you try to fit into their schedule and you become obsequious, too deferential, it's like you're begging. It's like, I'll do whatever you want. Anytime you need me, I'll be there. And that might be true, but don't project that, because that projects an air of neediness, which is, oh, please, will you buy my stuff? Not an air of confidence about your ability to help them. So, I have these hours. I'd love to help you. Will one of those work?
Absolutely. What else? You said something else about, let me think for a minute. Well, the other thing that I just want to say and how you just sort of role played is you're all heart. You know, it's like, I would love to help you get your business going. Let's start tomorrow. Right? Like, it's like you spoke about their end results. If it's a business one, right? Like, let's get this going for you, and then let's do it here. You know,
people want to hear. So I went to a networking event the other night because I'm a chapter head of the guerrilla marketing thing here in Phoenix. So I do some recruiting at networking events, and someone else was the featured dude at this event, and he's a life coach, and he spoke well, but the entire story was about I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and I discovered this, and I made these tremendous breakthroughs, and I got done, and so therefore I can help you. And what you do when you do that is you make the person, the client, like if I'm talking to Carla, I make Carla do the mental leap between what I discovered and interpreting that it can help her. So
That's
in
right.
public speaking, it's called the IU balance. And I want you to listen, all of you, listen to your language. If there aren't two U's to every one I, it should be 2 to 1, U to I minimum. Yeah. You are sending out signals that says, I'm cool. You need to think I'm cool. And I'm going to tell you that and convince you that by telling you how cool I am. And if it's 2 to 1 or better, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, that gives the sense of, you know what, tell me about that. Oh, how hard, why, you know, just the you piece creates that feeling of, oh, this is really interesting. And I get that feeling. I haven't said anything. All I've done is ask them about their stuff and been interested in it. And then I hear later, yeah, so-and-so thought you're really smart. And I'm like, how did that happen? I didn't say anything.
I heard Eben Pagan once talk about, and I think this was more in like a sales letter, but I think it could also translate into public speaking, but correct me if I'm wrong, that when to use I and when to use you or we. So if it's something like that's a negative, then you own it. You know, like I struggled. And then if it's something positive, it's you, like it's them. So every time you're associating with them, it's a higher vibration. And anytime it's something that could be, you know, I totally sucked at that versus, you know, you sucked at that, right? like you take the brunt, but you give them the gold, basically.
Totally agree with that. In sales letters, in speaking, whatever, make the audience smart. Whether it's the audience for your VSL, video sales letter, or it's the audience that you're speaking in front of, make them smart, make them feel good, make them the winner. You know, at the end of the day, you have two goals. Your audience, reading your letter or listening to your talk, is to serve your audience. You have a fiduciary responsibility to serve your audience. That's your first goal. Yeah. Your secondary goal that accidentally comes from that is that they hire you to help them, but they won't do that unless they think you can, and they think you can when you make them cool. So
right. Yeah. So moral of the story is to make them cool.
Yeah. Make them win. Make them, yeah, that aha. Oh, yeah, I could do that.
Totally.
I mean, that's how you want them to end the letter. I can do that. Good. Get started.
Right. Well, and you just said what was on my mind. I would say the third thing is you have to make an offer or let them know that you're for hire. Because I think that's the other part where a lot of people, they'll do this talk or whatever. And it's like, okay, great, thanks. But there's not and if you would like to work with me or if I could help you, like, do you help people with that? Like, do you want to talk about that at all?
I absolutely do. And so the kind of offer that you make depends on the circumstance. If you've got a video sales letter, there's a clear offer and one specific call to action. So one offer, one call to action in a letter. It's directive. It's not, well, you know, if maybe you, it isn't like that. It's powerful and it is directive. Go here, click this, do this now. Because that creates much better response. If you personally have a feeling of, well, I can't do that, then you have some work to do. The person reading the letter doesn't have some work to do. So that's just then go do that work and get to where you're confident. You can say those kinds of things with a smile and a sincere heart. Okay. Sometimes when you're speaking, like from stage or in a group, it isn't appropriate to make a specific offer from stage, particularly if you're getting a paid speaking gig, like if you're a keynote, something like that. So then you have to do something soft. It has to be invitational. Like if you'd like some more information, text XYZ to ABC, text my name to this name, or, put your business card in the bowl at the back or something like that, because you're not making a direct offer. But you always create through the talk, either a lead to a direct close if you're selling from stage, or if you're not and you're doing an informational thing, even if it's like at the local chamber and you're talking there and you're talking about marketing or you're talking about clearing blocks. Carla, at the end of her talk, she would say, clearing blocks, my day is brightened every time I get to work with a client and I can see they have cleared something that makes them more powerful, more capable, able to serve their clients better, and I have to do it. In fact, that is my whole business. If I can help any one of you with that, why, please X, put your card here, do this or that. And that's a proper soft close for a circumstance where you're not allowed to pitch a product, quote prices, or say whatever. But during the course of the talk, you may have used examples if you have a group coaching program. Well, I have this group coaching program. One of the clients, and so you tell the story about the client. You make the client the hero, and the reference to the fact that they were coaching with you is easily an indicator that you do that, and it wins.
Yeah.
You haven't done anything except tell a story about a winner.
That hopefully your audience can relate to, right? You're always speaking, yeah.
Totally. Your absolute fiduciary responsibility is to serve the audience. And the point of the story, in fact, the way you pick your stories is knowing your audience ahead of time, knowing what they're likely struggling with, and then you pick appropriate stories from your experience that will, you think, the best judgment you have, relate to their needs. So absolutely.
Excellent. I'm getting so much out of this. I'm taking notes. And again, it's things that I've heard before, but the way that you're presenting it and the way that you're sharing it, I'm getting a lot of ha's today. So selfishly, I'm thanking you. Hopefully the people in the chat and who are watching the replay are as well. And if you guys have any questions for Kellan, please type in /Q and then the question, and we'll be happy to answer those. Okay, so you went through, where were we we were on the excited.
To work with you, we talked about the thorny path. So let's just talk a little bit specifically about that. You have to have an easy path to get to you. So if you work from Facebook, and some people do that, I saw an article the other day said websites are dead, and they're talking about doing everything for social media. They're not dead, by the way. But if you're starting out, you can start today, and you can start with Facebook by creating a presence and then having a clear invitation to you. So if all you have is Facebook private message, invite people to send you a private message. I've got clients that way. So every single way I'm telling you right now, I have had people that I have never met call me, give me a credit card, and pay me thousands. Okay, so I'm telling you everything. I'm telling you that so that you know they work.
Yeah.
Okay. So Facebook's posture and stance, that is your personal revelation about who and what you are. It's not reposting a bunch of cute memes from somebody else, because people want, if they're going to hire you, they're going to hire you, not your ability to find cute memes from wherever, right?
Right.
Inspirational quotes. All right. So you can post about your personal philosophy. You can post about your personal story. You can post about your lifestyle if that's appropriate. You can post about results shares, the results that maybe one of your clients got. Those go over better than bragging about your own. You can post questions that are appropriate to your coaching practice. And then invitations, which are inviting people to participate in surveys, to make answer questions that are right there on the page, and ultimately to send me a private message if I can help you with. There's a free sessions at Sell thing. You can make those kinds of offers. I'd love to give you a free, clear your blocks today, end your money roadblocks now, find your soulmate now, whatever it is, session that Sal, I'll be glad to help you, and make those kinds of invitations. So that's number one, make invitations. Number two, when you have those conversations, be in charge. As Carla noticed, they came to you. So don't put them in charge of the conversation.
Yeah.
If that makes them feel lost. And then they feel like they know more than you, or they're not sure why they're there because they didn't come prepared for that. So you just take the hold of the conversation. Great to have you here. Really glad you took the time to do this. So what you responded to X. When you responded, what were you thinking? Well, I don't know. It just felt good. Okay, you can take it from there. Or I was worried specifically about the fact that every time I get ready to do something, I don't. Or whatever the issue is, you can start that. Well, tell me more about that. What do you feel when, whatever you need to do to walk through that, but have a plan prepared. Yeah. So you are in charge of the conversation. So make invitations, you be in charge of the conversation. And then at the right point, depending on the process you use, make a specific offer. Hey, I work with people specifically who have that issue, and I help them get to complete and total resolution and create success in that area. Would you like to hear about how we do that? Yes or no? And don't be afraid to ask those questions. They don't want to hear it. Okay.
Exactly.
Great talking to you.
I just want to go back for one thing. When you were talking about take control of the conversation, I just want to remind people the one way to do that is to ask questions. The person who's asking the questions tend to have the most control of the conversation.
That's the best way to do it. So thank you for saying it. The best way to control the conversation is to ask questions and let them talk. So when I said take control, thank you for clarifying that. I don't mean talk. I mean listen, but control what was being discussed with the questions you ask.
Absolutely. And so when you and I both have used Christian Michelson's free sessions that sell template, mm-hmm. The transition from asking the questions to making the offer was wobbly for me for a very long time. Like it felt really like, people are opening up, they're sharing their heart. And then, I liked how you phrased it of that you help people that to get complete resolution over or around this topic. Like that feels like a really sweet way. Number one, you're already describing the results and you're already putting yourself as an expert and that you've worked with other clients.
And those are the things that they want to know. Just ask yourself a question. What does this person need to hear to pay me? Mm-hmm. What do they need to hear to pay me? Well, they need to know that I can solve the problem and that they help and that we can do it now and that it won't take forever. And, just what do they need to hear? And if you were them, what would you need to hear to hire? And then, and I'm not ever suggesting in any way, shape, or form to stretch, exaggerate, lie, or anything else.
Of course. Yeah.
Working around your own confidence is I confidently say to people, I love working with people with exactly that issue to get through it, past it, over it, and then have complete success. And one of the gifts that Kellan has is particularly when I'm looking at someone, at least in video and in spades in person, is I have the ability to project the absolute confidence. I mean, there is no way anyone who talks to me doubts whether they hire me or not. It's like, I know you could do that. I just can't for whatever reason. So I have that. And I wasn't born that way. I didn't come out of the womb going, yeah, man, I can do this. In fact, it was developed in an unhealthy way at first because of overachieving stuff.
Sure.
And then refined into something that's genuine. But developing that is a key piece because people respond to confidence.
Now, would you ever say something about yourself in that part? Meaning, you love helping people get, resolution over depression because you suffered for so long. And so it would be an honor to work with you to help you in that area. Like, would you ever put that part there or does that water down?
Nope. It absolutely doesn't. And sometimes people will ask about it and I'm very open about it. And if someone feels, so here's the key question. If somebody feels like because I've screwed up badly and been to rehab and done all kinds of crazy things because of depression and had these issues that somehow I'm not fit to coach them, I'm not interested in having them as a client. If someone cannot understand that thorny path has put me in a place to do things that nobody else can do for them, then they're not prepared to take the steps that are required. And so I don't even worry about that. It's just
yeah. I guess my question is, would you at that moment remind them that you've been where they are, and that this is why you're choosing out of all the bazillion things you could be doing with your life, right? Like, I am doing this because I've been there and I've struggled, and it would be an honor to help you so you don't have to struggle like I did. Yeah, I'm just curious if that, or sometimes, is it just...
No, sometimes I do. That's all situational. So if it feels like, that would be a comfort to them to know that this is someone who's walked this path, at that point in the conversation, I certainly would. So the steps are kind of structured, but the content varies wildly depending on how the conversation's gone on. What have they told me? What have they shared with me? If they shared some really intense things with me, and that often happens, then I can make specific reference. Well, you said this, this, and this. I am really grateful that you shared that with me because of this, this, and this. And that's how come I am so confident that I can help you.
That's because I'm so confident.
You shared that with me, and here's
that's a good line. Yeah,
it is. This is why I'm so confident, because XYZ. You told me this, and I've done this and this, and this has happened, and that's how come I'm so confident. And then that makes them feel different, special, not cookie cutter. There's a special reason, all of that sort of thing that makes people go, I need that one, which is what makes people pay you, especially when you're charging high ticket. If you're in competition with everybody and you're just starting out at $500,000 a month or whatever you charge as a coach or healer, a 500 or 1,000, I don't know. Is that funny?
Well, no, I heard you say $500,000 a month starting off.
I meant 500 or 1,000 or 1,500. You start where you start, okay? And you need to work on your energetic certainty to understand that you provide way more value than that. And pretty soon that happens. And when you can say 2,000 without your stomach going, then you do that. And then 3,000 and 4,000, 5,000, and whatever you choose to go to and whatever your client group will, you can create that value for them.
Absolutely.
That's wherever it goes to. So that you then have that confidence at that point in the conversation. But I never say the money until they ask for it. I never do that. I don't say anything about it. I say, I can do this. I can help you. Would you like to do that? Would you like to know more? And then I just ask the question, well, do you have any other questions? And if they want to know, they'll say, well, how much is it? I know you don't work for free. And so that question happens all the time. Well, I know you don't work for free. And then I don't even answer it directly. And it's not because I'm afraid of the numbers. It used to be. I rember being afraid of saying a large number and having that knot in my stomach. I remember that. Okay. So I don't want anybody to think that I was immune to that disease, because I've had that one too. I ask a question. Well, what would it matter? What would it be worth to you to have this gone from your life? And I have them explore again the benefits. Well, I'd be able to do this and I'd be able to do that. Can you put a price tag on that? Well, some of them I can, because I might get another job, ask for the promotion, do this, that. And some of that stuff I just can't. So you'd say some of this value is priceless. Okay, good. And if it's a business deal, then, if I find out how much their average client is, like say if I had 10 clients a year, you can do the math so that what I am going to ask them for an investment is small compared to that. There's a name for that, price juxtaposition. So if you're doing a business growth thing and the guy says, my average client's worth $5,000 and we can add one a month for you, well, then that's about 30 or 40 by the end of the year. So it's $200K. So you wouldn't be surprised that the investment for the year is 60 and you're going to triple your money. So you're going to take it down to the bank and triple? No, good. Well, then this is a good investment. I don't say it that fast.
Right.
Okay. but if it's squishy stuff like, breakthrough work and everything else, some of that's squishy. And then what people trying to compare dollars, gold coins to feeling good.
Right.
It's hard. It's not, it's hard. So you have to be able to be confident and deal in the realm of priceless. Your relationship with your kids is priceless. Losing the weight and returning yourself to health and longevity and feeling good, that's priceless. And you've already tried, and I always ask them, what else have you tried? You've already spent this amount of time or money. So yeah, it's not free, but it works. And then I will, of course, tell them prices. So
do you ever... I have a dear friend who's been in the insurance business for like 60 years. And he says what he does at the end of every sale is before he takes the money,
He's like, okay, before you sign this contract, has there ever been a time in your life where you made a commitment, something to this, this expense, and then decided not to? Basically, like, has there ever been a time where you had buyer's remorse?
Right.
And then kind of make, like, is there anything that would be preventing you from going forward with this? And so it's making them sort of go back of like what could come up and then work through that before it does happen. So it's like they're recommitting to themselves in that moment that this is not going to be that time, like that I'm so in. Do you ever do anything like that?
I haven't done it that way, but I think that's really good. So I want everybody that's listening to take note of what Carla just said, because what that would trigger in a person is it would let them bring up other objections and let you work through them like she described. And so if someone had I invested in a coach and the next day I was mad and he wouldn't give me my money back, that kind of thing, or I bought this, or I did this, and I so found out later the next day that whatever, and I thought they were a fraud. So I wasted my money. I think that's a great idea. Ask those questions. And by doing it sincerely and saying, I'm really glad you shared that with me. I certainly don't want this to be anything like that. And I always remind people that I don't win as a coach unless my clients win. I just don't. I feel bad. Okay. And that's something I don't get over. I know I'm not responsible for my client's success, meaning if they don't implement, but I still want it. I don't know. I just want them to win, and I really do. And so I have some emotional investment there, and I don't treat it in a disconnected way. It's just not my nature. So those are sincere questions. And one of the key pieces that I think Carla's alluding to is your sincere desire to have that relationship and feeling with them comes through. And then they sense that they have someone in their corner. In fact, I had a client say that to me. The most important thing is I just got somebody in my corner. Mm-hmm. And that's a really important feeling.
What is your feelings on letting them think about it for a day? Because I live in two camps on that. So I'm just curious, what camp do you?
My experience is most of the time that just means no. So okay. I try to coach people to a decision. If the answer is you don't know, if they're going to think about it for a day, they're going to insist on thinking about it for a day. And okay. I've had people think about it and then buy. Usually they think about it and don't. So there's two ways to think about that. One is they think about it, have buyer's remorse before they bought, and then they don't buy. But usually that's not the issue. Usually the buyer's remorse is, I doubt myself. I won't be able to do it. I sucked before. I'm going to suck again. You're not going to be able to help me.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what I don't want to happen. So the question I ask usually is, all right, look, what is it that will happen between today and tomorrow that will make it a good idea if it's not a good idea right now?
Ooh. That's
what could possibly happen between today, this afternoon at 3:00, and tomorrow at 3:00 that's going to suddenly make you realize it's a good idea if you don't think it is right now. And if you think it is right now, why would you wait and have all of and I always address the elephant in the room, and have all of those doubts and fears that you've had 57.9 other times get in your way? Why would you do that? It's like, loading the self-sabotage gun and saying, have at it. Why would you do that? And if they go on and say, well, I don't know, and I'm going to talk to myself and everybody, I'm like, so then what that means is no, you don't want to. And I go there. I don't do maybe.
Yeah. Well, so the two camps for me, one is, I truly believe that during the exploratory call or even if you just happen to bump into them at a coffee shop, that first dialogue, there's so much energy that has already been created, and there's already momentum, and there's already clearing happening. There's already breakthroughs that are happening. And so for me, it's like, why wait? Because if you wait and think about it, all of this momentum comes down and then we have to start over again, versus let's get you started tomorrow because we're already here. Let's get you here. So that's sort of how I feel of why not to wait.
But in the waiting, there's some people who really do want to talk it over with their spouse. There's people who really do need a day to think about it. And if I hold space for that, then it gives them permission to work through their stuff. But I also hear what you're saying of like what could change between now and then. So those are the two camps of like, why wait? But then also sometimes sleeping on it, kind of like if there's something I want to buy and I go home and sleep on it, if I want it again tomorrow, then I'll do it.
And I agree with you. And so despite my hardcore saying I coach people to yes or no, I still wait. So I have a position on it, and I don't always do the position. And my rule is always do what seems the best in the best interest of the client. And if I really think they have a good reason to do that, I don't need their money, and I don't want it if it isn't right for them. Absolutely.
And I mean, and you just nailed it, right? It's your intuition. It's like if you hear what I hear you saying is, I know you're wicked intuitive. So if you could tell it's that self-doubt, that self-sabotage, those gremlins coming in, then you're gonna sit there and address those. But if you really feel they're the type of person who really they do want to sleep on it, then you're not gonna poke and prod.
I totally agree. And your intuition is right. And so's theirs. And so here's the thing I do say to people. I say, look, I don't, if they're issued about the money or they're fussed about that, I tell people, look, I don't do this because I have to. I do this because I want to. Yes. And I want you to win. So if you really think you need that, then I also ask, what are you going to do? So what is your process for deciding? Okay, you're going to tell me tomorrow. Cool. What are you going to do in that 24 hours? Are you going to meditate? Are you going to talk to a spouse? Are you going to go check some money you need to move around in different accounts to make the investment? And that's real. People may or may not have access to, particularly if you're spelling high ticket, like I do. That money right now, they maybe have to go do a dance somewhere. Okay, cool. But I want to know what you're going to do. What are you going to do to bring this to closure? Because I don't, maybe is not good for you. And here's the other thing. When I say to you, I need to clarify, I don't do maybe. It's like it's my decision. I don't think it's in the client's best interest to do maybe. So everybody watching this right now, I want you to think about how many times you've thought about doing something, not done it, and then beat yourself up about it. 1 billion, maybe 100 billion. Yeah. And the number of times when you've not done something and then praised yourself about it is, there are some of those, but they're really small compared to the number of times you've not done something and then said, I should have, whatever, fill in the blank. And so I'm just really focused on helping them identify why you would do it. Sometimes I'll ask that, why would you do it? Why would you not do it? List all the reasons you would do it. List all the reasons you would not do it. Which of those lists resonates with your heart and that future you?
And I think you're absolutely right. Maybes typically do mean no. They do for me. But I'm also the type of person, I'll say no first, and then I'll think about it, and then my no might turn to a yes. But my knee-jerk response...
I just don't want to leave it. And they have. They'll call me back, I thought about this and I changed my mind. I don't say, forget it. You're out. I'm not interested.
Right. So what is your feeling? I have another, how are we doing on time? We have 6 minutes till 2. I know you have a coaching thing shortly after this.
I'm good.
Do we have to hop off? Okay. Okay. What is your feeling on the quick action bonus or fast action bonus? Like people who say yes right away, they get a discount versus if you sleep on it. Again, I have 2 camps. I think it's great and I think it's slimy. So I'm just curious of what your thoughts are.
So I've used all different methods. And here's my real feeling. My gut feeling is it's a cool thing to offer. Sometimes it helps people feel like it's too good to pass up. It's, too good to be true, so I'm going to sign for it. And that's the camp of, doing it, pile on the bonuses. And I've seen that done. I've seen it done very well. And if they're genuine, real bonuses, I've had people say, wow, oh, wow, that's a good deal. I can't pass that up. And in that context, I think it's fair. I think it's right. Yes, it's marketing tactics. Yes, it's increasing the pressure, but you're also truly and really increasing the value. And someone says, well, I like this bunch of coaching I'm going to get. I like this group program. I like those other products. Ooh, I might need that one. Wow. Wow, this is just too good of a deal. Okay, that's okay. It's too good of a deal.
Sure.
When you do it because you're trying to create a sense of, oh, I dare not let this pass up. People that say yes from that point of view, one is, it's just such a good deal. I got to have it. Versus, oh, I'd be stupid. Oh, I can't pass this up.
Right.
That demonstrates the difference in attitude. And my truthful feeling about it is, if you and I've had a conversation, a deep and meaningful conversation about what you need, and you agree, and I've presented you with different ways to do it, then all of the rest of that stuff is fun, but not necessary. Because the commitment between us has been exchanged that, I'm going to help you solve that problem. And the form of it, whether it's some more videos or a group program more than the original coach, blah, 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 blah. To me, that's kind of, whatever. So,
well, the bonuses, like the bonuses I get, but like the price for the coaching is I guess my question. Like if you sign today, you get $2,000 off for the year, but if you sign tomorrow, that fast action bonus goes away. And I've heard like Christian, I know, does this, and it's where he comes from is we're already here. We're already on a call. I could just put you in the system now. It's going to save everything. So tomorrow it's going to require more energy and stuff. And so that's how he justifies it. As someone who would buy, like, to me, that's sort of bullshit. It's the exact same thing, and it's going to take a minute of your time. And so, but it is also an incentive. Like, if that's what that person needs to sign up now. So, yeah. So
the way I do that is I don't call them fast action. I do give a discount for full pay. So if somebody pays for the year and they want to have payments, well, then it's different. I don't know that I do fast action bonuses, because what that really is saying is I charge X dollars for my services, unless you decide quickly, in which case I charge, the investment is less for my services. Yeah. To me, that just sort of feels weird. So the issue of full pay is cool, because then the money's in a different place. And so it's who gets use of the money for the time value. So I don't really do the fast action bonus much.
Okay, great. Thank you for validating me. Basically, is what's just happening there.
I don't feel good about it, not because as a consultant, I build my time at X dollars an hour. As a consultant, $1,000 an hour. Oh, well, except for, the only thing I did is quantity. So if you book, I did the same in the recording studio. Okay, the studio time is whatever an hour. And if you book a whole pile of hours and pay for them, why then it's 20% less per hour, because you just gave me a swack of money. So, okay.
Yeah. R asked if people have a low propensity for those tactics. And I'm going to say no. I mean, people use these tactics all the time and they work. At least I've seen them work with coaches all the time. If you do it today, you'll get this. It's depending on your avatar, right? Now, if you have a savvy business guy, and this might sound, I hope this comes across okay, but if you have a savvy business woman or man versus someone who's not savvy in business, the not savvy in business may fall to those tactics a little bit more than the savvy business person. My mom, oh, it's a discount, let's get it. I'm like, they just jacked the price and lowered it. Like, it's the same price it was last week. It's just like, but someone who doesn't understand that that's working, they could fall for that. What's your thought on that?
I totally agree. It is a marketing tactic. It is a well-used, well-worn path to more cash. You get people that respond to discounts. So look how much money I saved. The joke, right? All car full of stuff. Well, it was all 20% off. Yeah, you still spent $5,000. Okay. So, yeah, you did. You saved a great pile of money. Thank you. Please don't save us so much tomorrow. That kind of thing.
Right. Discount for longer commitments. That's great. So I do 3 6-month packages, and the 3-month is, I do bigger discounts for longer commitments. But what is your feeling on that, Kellan?
Again, it has a lot more to do with, yes. The answer is categorically, yes, I do. If someone is willing to commit for a year or something like that, I do. And the reason is not just because of the money. There's a real important reason for me. If someone says to me, I'm willing to commit for a year, that means to me they're in. They want to do something different, and they expect to be in this for the long haul, doing the work, getting coached, getting some changes made, and getting some results. That tells me that it's a lot more likely to be a successful relationship because they have made that commitment.
Right.
And so that's the reason for me, because the time commitment's going to be the same. I mean, the coaching calls don't get less frequent or shorter because somebody's going to do that. But I am willing to give them a scholarship of a certain amount because they're indicating their commitment. It's like they signed a piece of paper emotionally saying, I'm in this. I'm in.
Right.
Let's do this all the way. That is a marker for me that says, I like this person. She's in. And so then I'm willing to work in a different way because they've made that indication. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what I've heard so far, where I think that we're sort of similar, where if you want to do payments, so our prices are completely different. I'm way low compared to what you're charging, but like $1,500 a month to work with me, full pay. For 3 months is, $3,600, $7,000 for 6 months, and $12,000 for a year. Now I know yours is like 10x that almost, but I think the people who do sign up, they appreciate those little bit of savings and the full pay savings versus like if they have to do $1,500 each month, like it's almost a no-brainer to them.
I agree with you. I agree completely. And the other thing that happens is if someone tries to pay month to month, inevitably, you as a coach, particularly as an energy healer, that there are things that happen when we make decisions. There is natural resistance. I have a name for it, and it's a whole piece of my program. I call it spiritual gravity. We work against physical gravity to work out. Spiritual gravity is the natural resistance to any change we want to make to improve ourselves. But that's a whole coaching discussion to have. But that happens. And so after a month or 2 months, somebody says, I can't pay, I can't pay. And if you had them do the full pay, even with a scholarship or discount, then, they've already, that decision's done. It's over. And it's not, it doesn't come up every fourth call. Are they going to continue?
Exactly.
And that dynamic approaches.
Yes.
So when I get to the end of somebody's renewal period, can I say one more thing?
Oh, you could say as many things as you want.
Okay. When I get to the end of somebody's renewal period, I never hesitate to raise it. 2 or 3 calls before the end, I just say, look, we've got 2 or 3 calls left, whatever it is, 4 calls. I need to know if you're planning on renewing. And the reason I need to know is because it'll help me structure the calls differently. If I know you're winding down, then I need to do this with the thought of you winding down, and I'm going to leave you with the very best stuff I can leave you. If we're going to go on, then I need to know that, because then I structure it with a longer time frame of goal in mind, and I will do better for you because I will do it differently. And so I don't raise it in a context of, can you afford to keep coaching with me?
Right.
I'm going to do something different for you if you're quitting or not. Not worse, but I just need to know. And so I address that thing. If I've got a 6-month deal going or 3 month, like a month before the end, so that it's not an elephant in the room, so that it's not this weight over the conversation, so that it's just a business deal. You are or you aren't. I don't care. I would recommend that you do. And I've had clients that I won't renew. Don't get me wrong. I say to them, I don't really think this is working. So, let's just call this good. Because I'll tell them why. Well, why not? Well, you're not doing what we talked about. You're not prepared at this time to actually execute. I would love to help you, but here are the things I need to see. A, B, C.
Yeah.
or you're really ready to do it because you're hoping a lot of things, but you're out of disappointment for these reasons. And so I'm very upfront. Address the elephant, talk about it. Sure, give discounts if it makes sense. I even do custom things for people. I want a VIP day and I want 6 months of coaching. What's a package deal on that? Okay, okay, here's how much. Okay, cool. So everything that I do is custom, and I love doing it that way because I like to get to know my clients, and my goal isn't to do as many people as I can. My goal is to do as much with each person as I can.
Thank you for being here. This is great fun for me, and I see some people are really loving this discussion as well. So thank you for showing up and being vulnerable, and talking about the elephants in the room.
Please. And I couldn't encourage you or anyone that's watching this enough to talk about them with yourself and with your clients. If you don't talk about your own elephants, they're never going to go away. And if you don't talk about the ones from the client, they're going to get in the way of, the conversation and the amount of good you can do.
Yeah. And what I will say is when we call our clients out on their stuff, there's a respect that happens because of course we're going to do it in a gentle way, or maybe not. We might have to NLP them depending on who they are. But when we name what's happening, it shatters that wall, and there's a respect that's instantly gained. At least that's my experience.
Completely.
Now that they may choose to continue to work with you or not, because they may not want to be seen, but that's okay. But that's okay.
I couldn't agree more. By calling out the elephant in the room, people are, they either get really uncomfortable or they get comfortable. And your skill as a coach at calling out an elephant is that's a measure of your chops. I mean, if you can call out elephants in a way that keeps the dialogue going, kudos to you. If you call it out in like, a poop in a punch bowl, then it's like, ooh, very bad. So there's a way to do this, right?
Absolutely. So I opened up the seat. Can you hang on for like 10 more minutes? Do you want to see if, okay, great. So, hang on, before you hop in, I want to, if you guys could comment on the side, what your questions are or what you want to talk about. I just want to make sure that we stay on point and to get the person in here that has the most burning question or that I feel is congruent to our topic. So just put in the chat what you would like to talk about with Kellan. While they're doing that, do you have anything that we haven't discussed? I mean, I know you have a lot, but on how to get every ideal client excited to work with you, is there anything that we haven't said that you feel needs to be said before we get on a tangent of someone coming into the love seat? Okay. So Roth, Sales Enhance. I saw that you wanted to come on. What sort of questions did you have? Okay, let's see. There we go. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Good. I like the conversation. I think it's a good conversation today. And I think our job as consultants or coaches, I own a sales training and business consulting company with clients across the country. And I look at it as I have to take the roof off the house and look down inside and see what my clients are too close to see. And I think part of that is to make them uncomfortable, to get them into a position where they realize and have to make the admission of where they're really at. Because then and only then can we move towards the solutions that we need to help create for them that will help their businesses grow and help them grow on a personal level as well.
I love that.
It's absolutely true that we stay in a comfort zone unless someone helps us either see it or calls it out so where it's no longer comfortable. As long as we can hide the hide the blood under the carpet, and then no one calls and talks about it. And if it starts to show up powerfully, then yeah. So I agree with you. There is absolutely a need to call out what's obvious, particularly when it's the big thing that's in the way. So thank you very much. I agree with that.
And can you remind me of your name? I've seen you on Melanie's blab, so I can't remember your name.
Oh, Norm Roth, R-O-T-H. And the name
Norm,
of my
that's
company
right.
is Roth Sales and Answers. Yeah, Melanie's one of my strategic partners. I have her on my website. And she's a terrific lady. She has a whole different way of doing things, and she brings a lot of humor to it. But she fills a gap, I think, in the consulting marketplace that needs to be filled as well. There's room for a lot of different types of talents and a lot of different types of approaches to dealing with clients.
Absolutely. Yeah, Melanie's great. I adore her. I'm so grateful for Blab. Yeah. Thank you so much, Norm. Is there anything else that you would like to offer?
No, I think it's my pleasure, and I appreciate you bringing me on. And certainly I can answer any questions, but if you'd like to move me out and bring somebody else on, that's fine too.
Great. Thank you. Kellan, did you have anything else for Norm?
No, I really appreciate you being here. And, take the roof off is a very good analogy because you're above the fray and you're in a vantage point of being able to see something different than others can see. And so I really like that. And well said. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. All right. And David, hello.
Hey, am I on?
You are on.
Okay, I'm just turning my obnoxious phone down. It rang at an inopportune moment. Yeah, so I'm new to Blab, and I kind of gather that you guys are a little new to Blab, and so I just really wanted to suggest that if you do another Blab, that you do what you're doing now and let folks on, because for me anyway, that's the big draw of the Blab media or medium is being able to have the audience participation, keeps it fresh. What you guys did for the beginning of the call is your basic, get on the Talking Heads webinar thing and, not let the audience steer it, not listen to the audience. The audience is off on their thing. So I just really wanted to encourage you to open it up like you have, and, then we can hear from folks like Norm. And then you can really drill into what the audience is looking at and looking for, rather than what you choose to present.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate your feedback. And this is, so I do 3 segments. This is called Conversations with Carla. So the first 45 minutes, they're going to be turned into a podcast. So I actually don't want other people hopping on. And then at the end, we do this where I allow people to come on, and then it could go as long and as deep as we want. But I appreciate your feedback, and I hear that that's a type of Blabs that you love to be part of. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah. Great. Well,
anything else?
No. I just, you might want to think about that. See if you want to be the podcast that everyone else is being, or whether you want to be a podcast with a hint of fresh.
Yeah. Awesome. I appreciate your feedback, David.
Okay.
Thank you. And Art, did you still want to hop on? You have a question over here. Excellent.
Hey, Kellan.
How you doing?
Carla, good seeing you. Carla,
Hi, Art.
You'll appreciate it. I've got fresh turmeric, ginger, and honey going on here. And Kellan, I'm in Tucson. You're in Phoenix.
I am. We live in part of the year in Phoenix and part up in Edmonton in Alberta. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm in Phoenix today, right north of you then. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's going to be 70, maybe 80 degrees here today, so I'm not complaining. I'll be going to Edmonton when it's July, though, so I can get some cooler climate.
Yeah.
So my question was, when you work on improving a business pro's performance regarding execution, are you doing accountability coaching, process improvement, or both?
Both. And the way I do this, I've had a long career as an executive before this, 30 years in the energy industry in the U.S. and Canada. And so there's the first introductory part. I get to know what your business is, what you're doing, what you hope to do, what you hope to achieve, where you think your potential and opportunities are. And then based on that description and those questions that we go through, then I can see if I, if you identify to me, my pipeline's not full of clients, or I have a bad return rate, they buy once and they're gone, or I have a high complaint situation, or it takes forever to get these client services, or I have a lot of problems with the product, then we can talk about how to do it. Are your videos good? Are you do you have the kind of web footprint, digital footprint that you want? What kind of medium would be appropriate for the client demographic that you're looking for? And so we go through all of the business segment pieces to look at your marketing to create the kind of presence you want. And in that process, I almost always discover reasons they haven't been doing things like, well, I didn't do video marketing because I suck on video and I don't like the way I look. Okay, fine. And all of that sort of comes up, deal with, what the internal barriers are that keeps them from doing what they probably kind of feel like they should do, and they're not really willing to go do that sort of thing.
Have you codified it to a line of business or an industry, or do you just take that executive talent that you've honed and spread it across all lines of business in all vertical markets?
I'm trying to think. I haven't turned away any. I have turned away plenty of clients.
Okay.
I've turned away plenty of people because I didn't think they were ready to coach. I haven't turned away one because I thought they were in an industry and I couldn't help them.
So retail, fashion, energy, marketers, salespeople.
I've had MLM clients. I've had bricks and mortar clients. I've had internet marketers as clients. I've had, guys that focus on baby boomers. I've had, everything.
Is there one line of business and one industry that you like the most to work with?
I love to work with people. It isn't a line of business. I love to work with people that are aware of, open to the idea, and understanding that they really need to manage and impress with their digital footprint. That are enjoying the push forward into the future as opposed to the past. So
fantastic.
Really
listen, Carla, thanks for letting me hop in. Kellan, thanks for letting me chat for a little bit. Always good seeing you guys. And maybe one day I'll catch you when you're in Arizona, Kellan. I'd love to chat more with you.
I'd be happy to.
Okay. I followed you on Twitter. Let's chat. Bye, Carla.
Good.
Bye, Art. Hi, Norm. You wanted to hop back on? Norm? You wanted to hop back on?
Yeah, I like Kellan's approach and what he said, because really, and I posted it on here, if you've got a strong executive or senior level management background and you've been very successful in the corporation you've been with has been very successful because of what you do and obviously because of your team members, those skill sets that when you become a coach or a consultant or a trainer or whatever it may be are really transparent to all industries. It was an interesting question that Art had, and I saw where he was going. But quite honestly, business is business, no matter what it is. The product or services may change. I hate it when people say, my business is different than all other businesses. The business of doing business is still doing business. And how you go about it and how you brand or how you approach it or what you do is really transparent to other industries. The skill sets required are basically the same. True, if you're a plumber, you got to know how to put in a toilet, and if you're an electrician, it's putting in lighting or wiring. But those are the technical sides of the business. But actually the process of doing business and growing your sales or growing your team, whatever it may be, are all transparent. And I think what happens with most companies or a lot of companies that don't use somebody like a Kellan, for example, are really looking for death by delay.
Well, and business is just, the one thing that I'll just add a little bit on there, and then we'll have Kellan respond. But business is just working with people, right? Like it's a people business, and
all it is.
Yeah. Kellan, would you like to say something?
There are absolutely many things, and I agree with you, or they're completely transferable because the skill of doing business is, identifying your target market well, doing your research well about what the needs are and what the actual desires of the client are, what the problem is they're trying to solve. And is there a status element to it? Is it just a utility element like buying electricity, or is it a status element like wearing a Gucci something or other? You know, what those needs are, and identifying them correctly positions you to create a unique value proposition and do that well. You know, and so when I work with a bricks and mortar, like I did have a client who was a cabinet maker and carpet installer. I don't know anything about making cabinets or installing carpets, but I was able to make a big difference in his business because the issues he had were about how to run a business. Didn't give him any advice on installing carpet or cabinets or how to make them or anything like that because I'm lousy and I built a few things and they were crappy. So that would not be where I had a conversation with him. If he needs that, I would tell him to go somewhere else and find it, or I would try to help him find it. But I wouldn't try to help him do that. But the process of getting clients, of making himself unique, of servicing people well, of collecting on time, of how to have conversations and renegotiate deals with suppliers. And, you know, I've done all those things in different ways. And so that is where we helped him create, you know, real value, not about how to make cabinets and install carpet.
Right. You know, most of my clients around the country and globally are mid caps and larger corporations, but I do a lot of pro bono work for small companies and entrepreneurs and, you know, very small companies. And it's shocking to me that they don't even have a business plan, a documented business plan in place. You're in Phoenix. Is that what I heard somebody say?
I am sitting in Phoenix right now.
You need to write down this person's name, and you need to network with him.
Okay.
His name is Renee APAC, APACK.
Okay.
You need to look him up on Facebook and on LinkedIn. If you want to call me, I'll give you his direct number. Tremendous networker, great business guy. Moved there from Chicago. I coached him. He's a client of mine. We formed a very large networking group on Thursday mornings when I'm in town, but it's every week, and we get about 103 people to those networking groups. He's formed a very active one in Scottsdale, and you really need to talk to him and get to know him.
Well, I'll look it up. Thank you, Norm.
Just an absolutely tremendous guy.
Cool.
I'll give you my cell if you want to call me for his phone number.
Okay.
Which is 847-721-0738.
Okay, Norm.
Fabulous guy. Thank you. And a really solid business guy.
Cool. Looking forward
now,
to it.
where are you at, Carla?
I am currently in South Bend, Indiana. I've been a nomad for about a year, actually a year coming on next week. And so I left LA last February and I was in Seattle.
I lived in
Canada.
the Palisades. I lived in the Palisades for a while. And I live in Chicago, and I office out of Chicago now. We're not that far away.
I do. Not when it's snowing, but yes.
You ever get to
I love Chicago.
Call me when you get in town.
All right. I will, absolutely.
All right,
Thank you,
I'm going
Norm.
to get off. You guys chat.
All right.
Get off.
Okay.
Okay,
We'll
bye,
see
Norm. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. I have something that I have to get to here in about 8 minutes.
Okay, cool.
But I wanted to thank you so much again for you're so generous with your time and your wisdom and your knowledge. And I had a blast having you on here, and everybody who has, been on from the beginning and people who joined in. Thank you so much. And people who are watching the replay. Let's put your website back up. I had your website up there and then it went away because I would love for people to be able to find you. There it is.
The best way, you can put my website up, which is just my name, KELLANFLUCKIGER.com. So you spelled my name correctly, so that.com. Or connect with me on Facebook, send me a message or whatever. I do a lot of work on Facebook, a lot of marketing, and I get a lot of clients and stuff like that. So that's the easiest, fastest way to connect with me is through Facebook. You're welcome to go to my website and take a look. It's at various stages of refresh because we're building a new one this year that we like. We like the last one, but just something new. So that's being changed. But Facebook is Facebook. So
absolutely. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And please follow him on Twitter and Facebook
follow me if you like these conversations. And I'm going to end the recording. So thank you, everybody.
All right. Thanks.